From Mordheim's highest spires, scholars first saw the twin-tailed comet of Sigmar. It was an omen of destruction. The day the prophecy was fulfilled, the bell of Mor tolled 13 times, an eerie warning of doom. This bell is an iconic landmark of Mordheim, and today we're going to bring it to life. Let me show you how I made it. I stippled on some super glue onto these bells to kind of hide the 3D printed layers, but I just wanted a little bit more of a texture, kind of hint at the rustiness that I'm going to be putting on later. To kind of make it look like the bell mounts have some 2-scale rope. I'm going to use pipe cleaners and just a little bit of heat that will shrink wrap all the fuzz around it, and you can use wire for this, but I like to use pipe cleaners because the fibers here hold paint better than just the smooth metal texture that wire has. So this one's already pre-coiled because they coil it to make sure that the fuzz is there, and I mean, you get these at the dollar store, so they're that cheap. I also drew up a concept sketch, and I wanted this to be a really gothic looking clock tower, so I cut out a really strong silhouette. I wanted this to have a clock face, so I used an old shipping container, cut out a strip, and then cut out a hole for that strip to act as where the clock used to be. Throughout this process, I'm always thinking about playability. How am I going to be able to place a miniature inside this building? And breaking holes into the structure is a nice way to kind of make sure I have options in the future. I texture my foam by pressing really hard with a lump of concrete. The concrete has a really rough texture, so having that amount of texture for when I punch bricks later is going to help out tremendously. I cut out all the shapes first, and then once I had the whole building out, I did the texturing and I did the bricks all at the same time to make sure that the bricks ran across the building evenly. You definitely want to do the bricklaying before the building is assembled. I have made that mistake before. Make sure you do it before. Instead of laying individual bricks, I punched my bricks with an old paintbrush I've crimped into a rectangle, and it's by far the fastest way to do this process, and it's a really consistent way to do it. I make sure I know where I want to glue this, and then I glue it down with foam insulate. The brand is called Great Stuff, and it has a reusable nozzle, and I can hold on to this can for several months. It's definitely worth the money. All right, so we do weekly videos here. So finding time-saving techniques, like while I'm at work, I can send a print here because I forgot to start it. Those time-saving techniques to have something work while I'm away is infinitely valuable. And I feel like I have a big enough library at this point on Patreon where I could build anything I want, which I think is amazing. And if you don't know, that library is available to everyone for free, not just patrons. So if you're interested and you have a 3D printer, or maybe you're considering buying a 3D printer, but you don't know where to get STLs, I have a free resource over there. It's a one-stop shop. And if you find value in it, Patreon's only $2 or $5 a month. And thank you so much to you patrons who fund the channel and fund the videos. It's been amazing to kind of not have to need to grab it out of my own wallet and fund these videos. So I genuinely appreciate it. You guys are the best. No joke. To make this building more sturdy, I filled the gap in between the building and the convex area of the tower with the foam insulin again, and I just trimmed it in place. And then I started gluing in the scaffolding. This building wasn't super playable, so I went ahead and opened up another side of the wall to make sure that I could fit hands and miniatures into this building. Then I turned these brackets upside down and I found a spot to finally hang the bell from. I really wanted this bell in a really prominent position and I wasn't really sold on this area, but I figured I could make it work. I always like to put myself in a pickle that I can, or a problem that I can solve later. My mind tends to work better in that way. So I went ahead and just started adding more scaffolding and just wanted to see how this position of the bell looked in the context of the rest of the build. Once I started adding more and more pieces of scaffolding, I definitely liked the decision I had made putting it there, and so I went along with the roof. I cut out individual strips of balsa wood and popsicle sticks, and I just started gluing them in place, and then I put in a little War Master figurine on the top to act as a weather vane, and I really love this detail. I put it on most of my builds, whether it's 3D printed or an official model. And I just continue adding more scaffolding. This terrain board is going to be really vertical, so it's really important to have a bunch of walkways everywhere I can fit them. I was gifted some Skaven bits, and I thought it would be perfect for this bell. I don't know where they're from, but I really thank the person who gave them to me because they were perfect to really set this bell apart and make it a really cool focal point for this build. Now it's finally time to paint this thing. I'm going to coat all the foam with PVA glue and black paint just so that I can use spray paint to coat everything else. The spray paint will do a good job of covering the hot glue. Mod Podge doesn't cover that very well. I took it outside and I spray painted everything black. And I wanted to do a limestone yellow brick color for all the bricks on this build. I mixed a mustard color for my first color, and then I gradually added a bit more yellow and then a bit more of a yellow tan as the final highlight, and just stippled that everywhere with the fan brush. The fan brush is really good because it's more of an overbrush. You know, I'm not trying to fill the grout lines so that it will be very prominent. In limestone buildings in particular, grout lines tend to be really dark rather than white, and it adds a lot of definition. For all the wood, I went in with a mossy, mildewy type gray because I want this to look really dead and really dry wood. And I did that everywhere. There was a lot of wood on this, so I just tried to whip it out. All the windows and all the gargoyles, I did an oxidized copper, kind of like the Statue of Liberty, and I did that with the bells as well. And this is a really nice pop of color that will distract from any unsightly painting. And we're not quite done with this project yet, so we're going to be finishing the painting of this later as well. Once I got the bell all done, I painted the rope tan as well, and I was really happy with how this looked. I had to get the board out and see how it looked all put together. So thanks so much for watching. Let me know what you guys think. I was really happy with this project. I hope the bell doesn't toll 13 times for you this week and you can get a lot done. All right, have a good one.